Captain Jake Morrison stared at the view screen as the USS Horizon drifted through space near the Kepler 442 system. The year was 2087, and this was supposed to be a simple survey mission to check for new planets that humans could use. Jake had been doing these missions for 15 years, and they were always boring. His crew felt the same way. Lisa Carter was sleeping in the pilot seat again, and Danny Rodriguez was fixing something that did not need fixing just to stay busy. Amy Brooks was listening to Old Earth music through her headphones while pretending to monitor communications. Everything changed when the sensors started screaming. Amy pulled off her headphones and her face went white. The communication board was lighting up like a Christmas tree. Lisa woke up fast and Danny dropped his tools. Jake felt his heart start beating faster as he looked at what the sensors were showing them. Ships were coming through space toward them. But these were not human ships. They were huge and dark and shaped like nothing Jake had ever seen before. The biggest one was the size of a small city. The others were smaller but still much bigger than the Horizon. They moved in perfect formation like they had done this many times before. Lisa's hands were shaking as she put them on the controls. Danny ran to his station and started checking all the ship systems. Amy was trying to figure out what the strange signals meant that were coming from the alien ships. Jake stood in the middle of the bridge and tried to think clearly even though his mind was racing. The alien ships stopped moving when they were still far away but close enough that the Horizon's sensors could see them clearly. For a few minutes, nothing happened. Jake wondered if they had been seen. The Horizon was small compared to the alien ships. Maybe they would not notice it. Then Amy's board started making noise again. She looked at Jake with wide eyes and said, "The aliens were sending them a message." The message was in perfect English, which made Jake feel even more worried. How did they know human language? The voice that came through the speakers was cold and had no feeling in it. It spoke slowly like it was talking to children. The alien said its name was War Commander Thexvar of the Zephyrian Empire. It said, the Zephyrians had been watching Earth for some time. They had listened to human radio signals and learned human languages. They had studied human bodies and human technology. War Commander Thexvar said humans were a weak species. He said human bodies were soft and broke easily. He said human weapons were like toys compared to Zephyrian weapons. He said human ships were slow and clumsy. The Zephyrians had conquered 17 other worlds, and all of those species had been stronger than humans. Conquering Earth would be easy. The alien commander gave Earth 30 days to surrender completely. All human governments had to give up. All human weapons had to be destroyed. Humans would become slaves to the Zephyrian Empire. If humans did not surrender, the Zephyrians would destroy every city on Earth and kill everyone. Jake felt angry and scared at the same time. He told Amy to record everything and send it back to Earth as fast as possible. He told Lisa to hide the ship behind some asteroids where the aliens might not see them. He told Danny to make sure all their systems were quiet so the aliens would not detect them. The alien ships started moving toward Earth. Jake watched them go and felt helpless. The Horizon had some weapons, but they were nothing compared to what he had just seen. The ship could run fast, but not faster than those alien ships probably could. Jake and his crew were stuck out here while Earth was about to be attacked. But Jake was a military officer, and he had been in dangerous situations before. He started thinking about what they could do. They could follow the aliens and maybe learn something useful. They could send messages to Earth with information about the alien ships. They could look for weak spots or find out how the alien technology worked. Amy was already sending the alien message to Earth along with all the sensor data about the ships. The message would take hours to reach Earth even at light speed. By then the aliens would already be there. Lisa had hidden the ship well behind a big asteroid where their heat and power signals would be hard to detect. Danny was making sure everything on the ship was working perfectly in case they needed to run or fight. Jake made his decision. They would follow the aliens and spy on them. It was dangerous, but someone had to do it. The people on Earth needed to know everything possible about these Zephyrians before the 30 days were up. Maybe Jake and his crew could find something that would help Earth defend itself. The alien ships disappeared into faster-than-light travel heading toward Earth. Jake ordered Lisa to follow them but stay far enough away to avoid detection. Horizon jumped into hyperspace and began the most important mission of their lives. The Zephyrian fleet came out of hyperspace near Earth's moon, and the sight made War Commander Thexvar feel satisfied. The blue and green planet looked peaceful and defenseless. His science officer Kexnall was already scanning the planet with their most powerful sensors. The readings confirmed what Thexvar had expected. This would be the easiest conquest in Zephyrian history. KEX-NOL reported that humans lived for less than 100 years, which was very short compared to most intelligent species. Their bodies had no natural armor or weapons. They could not survive in space without machines to help them. Their cities had no energy shields. Their weapons used simple chemical explosives instead of energy beams. Most humans had never even left their own planet. Thexvar looked at the data and felt almost disappointed. The 17 other species they had conquered had all been much stronger than this. The Korthani had thick stone skin and could lift heavy rocks with their bare hands. The Veltros had energy weapons built into their bodies. The Nexari could survive in the vacuum of space. But humans seemed to have no special abilities at all. On Earth, people were panicking. President Robert Hayes was in an emergency meeting with his top advisors in a bunker deep underground. Defense Secretary Carol Nash was trying to figure out how Earth's military could fight against technology they did not understand. General Peter Stone looked at the reports about the alien ships and knew that every weapon on Earth would barely scratch their hulls, but some humans were already starting to work on solutions. Dr. Emma Watson was the head of the Global Defense Research Initiative, and she was not the type of person to give up easily. When the alien message reached Earth, she immediately gathered her best scientists and engineers. Dr. Kevin Park was an expert on physics and energy weapons. Ryan Bell knew more about computers and artificial intelligence than almost anyone on Earth. Emma's team started studying every piece of information they had about the alien ships. The Horizon had sent detailed sensor readings before the aliens jumped to hyperspace. There were also some small pieces of metal that had broken off from the alien ships when they passed through Earth's asteroid belt. Emma had these pieces brought to her laboratory as fast as possible. What Emma found gave her the first bit of hope since the crisis began. The alien technology was very advanced, but it followed the same basic laws of physics that human technology used. The metals were stronger than anything humans had, but they were still just metals. The energy readings showed that the alien weapons used focused particle beams, which was something human scientists understood. Meanwhile, Captain Jake Morrison and his crew were following the alien fleet from a safe distance. Lisa Carter was using every trick she knew to keep the Horizon hidden. She flew close to asteroids and space debris to mask their heat signature. She kept the ship's power as low as possible while still maintaining life support. Danny Rodriguez had modified their sensors to be completely passive so they would not send out any signals the aliens might detect. Amy Brooks was listening to alien communications and learning disturbing things. The Zephyrians were not just planning to conquer Earth. They were planning to use humans as slave labor in their mines and factories. They talked about humans like they were animals. War Commander Thexvar had already decided which human cities to destroy first to make an example, but the aliens were also revealing information about themselves without knowing it. Amy learned that Zephyrian ships needed special fuel that they could only make at certain facilities. She learned that their weapons had to recharge between shots. Most importantly, she learned that the aliens had never fought an enemy that could adapt and change tactics quickly. The first alien attack came on day 3. Thexvar sent small ships to destroy some of Earth's military satellites and space stations. He wanted to show humans how powerful Zephyrian weapons were. The attacks worked perfectly. Every target was destroyed in seconds by energy beams that cut through metal like it was paper, but the attacks also gave Dr. Watson's team their first chance to see alien weapons in action. They recorded everything with hidden sensors and started analyzing how the energy beams worked. Kevin Park realized that the beams used a specific frequency that could potentially be blocked or deflected if they understood it better. On the moon, the aliens set up a base where they could watch Earth closely. Kexnall continued scanning human cities and military bases. He reported to Thexvar that humans seemed to be moving their armies and weapons, but their technology was still primitive. Some humans were trying to hide underground, but Zephyrian sensors could find them easily. What Kexnall did not understand was that humans were not just hiding. They were preparing. Colonel Steve Martin was organizing his soldiers in new ways that might confuse the aliens. Instead of large armies meeting in open battle, he was creating small teams that could strike fast and then disappear. Major Julie Hayes was teaching other officers how to use Earth's mountains and forests to hide from alien sensors. The Zephyrians made their first big mistake on day 7. They sent a message to all human governments demanding an immediate response about surrender. But they sent the message using human communication systems, which meant Emma Watson's team could trace it back to its source. Ryan Bell used his computer skills to hack into the alien communication network for just a few seconds before they noticed and blocked him out. Those few seconds were enough. Ryan learned that the alien ships had a central computer network that controlled everything. If that network could be disrupted, all their ships would have trouble working together. He also found out that the aliens had never faced an enemy that could hack into their computers because most species they fought were not advanced enough to try. War Commander Thexvar was starting to feel impatient. He had expected humans to surrender after seeing the first attacks. Instead, they seemed to be getting ready to fight. Thexvar could not understand why such a weak species would choose to resist when they had no chance of winning. Every other species had surrendered quickly once they saw a Zephyrian power dot, but Thexvar was not worried. Humans might be stubborn, but they were still weak. In a few more days, he would begin the real attack and crush all human resistance. Then he would add Earth to the list of Zephyrian conquests and move on to find the next world to dominate. War Commander Thexvar decided that humans needed a stronger lesson about Zephyrian power. On day 10, he ordered his ships to attack the city of Geneva, where the United Nations building stood. The energy beams destroyed several blocks in minutes. Thousands of humans died, and many more ran away in terror. Thexvar expected this show of force to finally make Earth surrender. Instead, something unexpected happened. Instead of giving up, humans became more determined to fight. The attack on Geneva made people angry instead of scared. All over Earth, humans started working together in ways the aliens had never seen before. Rich and poor people helped each other. Different countries shared their weapons and resources. Enemies became friends when they faced a common threat. Tony Miller was a former Marine sergeant who lived near Geneva. When he saw the destruction, he did not run away or hide. Instead, he started organizing the people in his neighborhood into fighting groups. Tony taught them how to make simple weapons and how to hide from alien sensors. He showed them how to attack quickly and then disappear before the enemy could fight back. Similar groups formed all over. Earth. Chloe Davis was a young computer expert who created a secret communication network that the aliens could not detect or break into. She used old radio equipment and new quantum computers working together in ways that confused alien technology. Soon resistance fighters in every country could talk to each other and plan attacks together. Dr. Emma Watson's team was making progress too. They had captured some small pieces of alien technology when the Zephyrians destroyed the space stations. Emma and Kevin Park worked day and night to understand how alien energy shields worked. They discovered that the shields were very good at stopping energy weapons, but they had trouble with physical objects that moved in certain patterns. Ryan Bell made an important discovery about alien computers. The Zephyrians used quantum processors, just like humans did, but their programming was very rigid. They could handle expected situations perfectly, but they had trouble adapting when something surprising happened. Ryan started designing computer viruses that could confuse alien systems by doing random, unpredictable things. Captain Jake Morrison and his crew were still spying on the alien fleet from their hiding place. Danny Rodriguez had been studying the alien ships with their sensors, and he found something interesting. The big ships were very powerful, but they were also slow and hard to turn. They were designed to fight enemies who would meet them in direct battle. The aliens had never learned to fight against small, fast ships that could attack from many directions at once. Amy Brooks intercepted alien communications that revealed more weaknesses. The Zephyrians had strict military rules about who could make decisions. Lower-ranking aliens could not change plans even when situations changed. They always waited for orders from their commanders. This meant human fighters could sometimes attack and escape before the aliens could organize a response. The real test came on day 15 when Vex Var launched a major attack on the city of New York. He sent a dozen ships to destroy the city completely and kill millions of humans. But the humans were ready this time. Colonel Steve Martin had hidden missile launchers in buildings throughout the city. When the alien ships came down to attack, the missiles struck them from all directions at once. The missiles did not destroy the alien ships, but they damaged their shields and confused their sensors. While the aliens were trying to figure out what had happened, Major Julie Hayes led fighter jets in low-altitude attacks that the big alien ships could not target effectively. The jets used weapons that Emma Watson's team had modified with alien technology they had captured during the battle. Something happened that shocked the Zephyrians more than any weapon could. A human pilot named Marcus Lee saw that one of the alien ships was about to destroy a hospital full of sick children. Marcus flew his damaged fighter directly into the alien ship and exploded his remaining missiles. The explosion created a hole in the alien ship's hull and forced it to retreat. Vex-VAR could not understand why Marcus had done this. The pilot had gained nothing by destroying himself and his ship. In Zephyrian culture, individuals only fought to gain power or wealth for themselves. The idea that someone would die to save others made no sense to the alien commander. Kexnall tried to explain it as a malfunction in human brain chemistry, but Vexvar was not satisfied with this answer. Similar acts of sacrifice happened during battles all over Earth. Humans would risk their own lives to save strangers. Soldiers would stay behind to fight hopeless battles so that civilians could escape. Scientists would work without rest even when alien weapons were destroying their laboratories. The Zephyrians had conquered 17 worlds, but they had never seen anything like this. The aliens were also confused by human tactical flexibility. When one plan failed, humans quickly tried something different. When the aliens adapted to human weapons, the humans invented new weapons. When alien ships learned to avoid human missiles, the humans started using different types of attacks. Every time the Zephyrians thought they understood human strategy, the humans changed it. Dr. Watson made her biggest breakthrough on day 18. Working with samples of alien metal, she figured out how to create quantum disruption fields. These fields could weaken alien shields enough that human weapons could damage alien ships. The technology was difficult to build and used a lot of power, but it worked. Emma immediately started teaching other scientists how to make the devices. Underground. Resistance networks were growing stronger every day. Tony Miller's local groups had spread to hundreds of cities. They used Chloe Davis's communication network to coordinate attacks across entire continents. When aliens attacked one city resistance, fighters in other cities would strike alien supply lines or communication relays. The Zephyrians found themselves fighting dozens of small wars instead of one big one. The aliens' biggest shock came when they captured some human prisoners and tried to interrogate them. Most of the prisoners refused to give any information even when threatened with death. Some actually seemed proud to be captured while fighting for their planet. The Zephyrians had never encountered prisoners who acted this way. Usually captured enemies would tell them anything they wanted to know. By day 20, HFY was starting to worry. His superiors in the Zephyrian Empire expected Earth to be conquered quickly like all the other worlds. But humans were proving much harder to defeat than anyone had predicted. Worse, the longer the battle continued, the stronger human resistance became. The aliens were winning most fights, but they were not breaking human will to fight. KEX-NOL suggested that they should simply destroy all life on Earth and find another planet to conquer. But HFY had already committed too many resources to this invasion. Retreating would mean disgrace and possibly execution when he returned to the Empire. He decided to increase the attacks and crush human resistance once and for all before his superiors lost patience with him. Everything changed on day 22 when the humans captured their first living alien. The prisoner was a Zephyrian engineer named Yeltex, whose small ship had been shot down during a raid on Tokyo, unlike the other aliens. Yeltex was horrified by what his people were doing to Earth. He had joined the military to explore space and discover new worlds, not to destroy civilizations and enslave entire species. Dr. Emma Watson was the first human to speak with Yeltex. The alien engineer was tall and thin, with skin that looked like blue crystal and 4 arms that moved in ways that seemed impossible. But his eyes showed the same kind of sadness that Emma had seen in human faces during the war. Yeltex spoke perfect English and told Emma that he wanted to help humans defend themselves. Working with Yeltex, Emma's team finally understood how Zephyrian technology really worked. The alien shields used rotating quantum fields that could stop energy weapons completely. But the shields had a weakness that no one had discovered before. If they were hit by physical objects that vibrated at exactly the right frequency, the fields would collapse for a few seconds. Emma and Kevin Park spent 3 days building devices that could create these vibrations. The devices were small enough to fit on missiles and bullets, but powerful enough to disrupt alien shields. Ryan Bell wrote computer programs that could calculate the exact frequency needed for each type of alien ship. Within a week, human weapons were suddenly able to damage ships that had seemed invincible. General Peter Stone immediately organized Operation Mongoose using the new technology. Instead of hiding and running away, human forces would attack alien ships directly. The operation began at dawn on day 25 with coordinated strikes on alien positions all over Earth. For the first time since the invasion began, humans were fighting back with weapons that could actually hurt their enemies. The battle for London was the first real test of human hybrid technology. Colonel Steve Martin led 300 soldiers armed with quantum disruption weapons against a Zephyrian ground base. The aliens expected another weak human attack that their shields would easily stop. Instead, human bullets and missiles punched through their defenses like they were made of paper. The Zephyrians fought back with energy weapons that could melt steel and personal shields that had protected them in dozens of battles. But humans had learned to fight differently than other species. Instead of standing in lines and shooting at each other like armies, usually human soldiers moved in small groups that attacked from unexpected directions. Major Julie Hayes proved that humans were better at close-range fighting than aliens. Her Special Forces team snuck into an alien command post and fought the defenders hand-to-hand. The Zephyrians were stronger and had better weapons, but humans were faster and more flexible. They could think of new tactics during battle. While aliens followed the same patterns they had always used, Captain Jake Morrison finally got his chance to strike back at the aliens. His ship, the Horizon, had been modified with captured alien technology and quantum disruption devices. Danny Rodriguez had turned their small exploration vessel into a hybrid human-alien warship that could fight ships 10 times its size. Lisa Carter had learned to fly using alien navigation systems that made her faster and more accurate than any human pilot had ever been. Jake planned a daring attack on the main Zephyrian command ship orbiting Earth's moon. The ship was enormous and heavily defended, but it controlled the entire alien fleet. If they could destroy or capture it, the other alien ships would lose their coordination and become vulnerable to human attacks. Amy Brooks had been monitoring alien communications for weeks, and she knew exactly when the command ship would be most vulnerable. Every few days, the ship had to lower its shields to transfer power to the rest of the fleet. The window only lasted for 30 minutes, but it would be enough if everything went perfectly. The mission almost failed before it started. As the Horizon approached the command ship, alien fighters detected them and began attacking. Lisa had to use every trick she knew to avoid being destroyed, while Danny fired their new weapons at the enemy ships. The quantum disruption devices worked better than anyone had hoped. Small human weapons were destroying alien fighters that should have been impossible to damage. Jake and a team of soldiers managed to board the command ship while Amy stayed behind to pilot the Horizon. Inside the alien ship, they found technology beyond anything humans had imagined. The corridors were filled with crystal computers and energy fields that could kill intruders instantly. But Yeltex had taught them how to recognize and avoid the most dangerous alien security systems. The team fought their way to the ship's main computer core while alien soldiers tried to stop them. The battle was fierce and several humans died, including Danny Rodriguez, who sacrificed himself to plant quantum disruption bombs throughout the alien ship's power systems. His final act ensured that the mission would succeed even if none of them survived. Amy Brooks made the ultimate sacrifice. When alien reinforcements surrounded the computer core, she stayed behind to manually override the alien security systems while Jake and the others escaped. Her last words over the radio were to tell her teammates that she was proud to die fighting for Earth. The bombs exploded just as Jake's team reached their escape pods. The destruction of the command ship sent shock waves through the entire Zephyrian fleet. Without central coordination, individual ships began making mistakes and revealing weaknesses. Admiral Linda Cross led Earth Space Forces in attacks on confused alien vessels, while ground-based missile systems targeted ships that had lost their defensive coordination. War Commander Thexvar watched his perfect invasion falling apart and finally understood that he had made a terrible mistake. Humans were not weak because their bodies were soft or their lives were short. They were strong because they fought for something bigger than themselves. They were willing to die for their families, their friends, and complete strangers in ways that Zephyrians could never understand. But Thexvar was not ready to surrender. He still had most of his fleet, and reinforcements were coming from other parts of the Zephyrian Empire. If he could not conquer Earth quickly, then he would destroy it completely and tell his superiors that humans had been too dangerous to let live. He ordered all remaining ships to begin bombing every human city until nothing was left alive on the planet. The final battle for Earth was about to begin, and this time the Zephyrians would show no mercy. But humans had learned much during the past 25 days, and they were no longer the weak species that Vexvar had first encountered. The real test of human strength was still to come. Vexvar's order to destroy all life on Earth marked the beginning of the most desperate phase of the war. The remaining Zephyrian ships began systematic bombing of every human city they could find. But the aliens discovered that humans had used the past few weeks to prepare for exactly this situation. Underground bunkers protected millions of people, while hidden weapon systems struck back at alien ships from unexpected locations. The humans revealed their greatest advantage during these final battles, while Zephyrians followed rigid command structures and waited for orders. Humans made decisions quickly at every level. Lieutenant Kelly Turner led a fighter squadron that developed completely new attack patterns during combat. Her pilots would split up and attack alien ships from 6 different directions at once, then regroup and strike from a completely different angle. The aliens had never faced enemies who could change tactics so quickly. Their computer systems were designed to predict enemy behavior based on past actions. But humans kept doing things that had never been tried before. Sam Foster was an engineer who created weapons from whatever materials he could find. He turned farming equipment into missile launchers and used mining explosives to destroy alien landing craft. Captain Jake Morrison had survived the destruction of the command ship and was now leading a small fleet of hybrid human-alien vessels. The ships were built from captured alien technology combined with human creativity and determination. Each ship was different because human engineers kept improving the designs and adding new weapons that the aliens could not predict or counter. Jake's fleet used tactics that no species in the galaxy had ever attempted. Instead of fighting in formation like traditional space navies, they attacked like a pack of wolves. Individual ships would dart in and out of combat, striking weak points and then disappearing before the aliens could respond. When one human ship was damaged, the others would cover its escape and then return to continue the attack. Dr. Emma Watson had established research centers all over Earth that were constantly developing new weapons and defenses. Working with the alien engineer Yeltex, she had learned to modify captured Zephyrian technology in ways that its original creators had never imagined. Human scientists combined alien energy systems with Earth metals to create armor that could stop Zephyrian weapons. Kevin Park made the most important discovery when he realized that alien faster-than-light travel systems had a critical weakness. The Zephyrians could track any ship that used their technology, which meant they always knew where their enemies were going. But Kevin found a way to modify the alien systems so that human ships could travel faster than light without being detected. This breakthrough allowed Captain Morrison to do something that terrified the Zephyrians more than any weapon. Human ships began appearing in places where they should not exist. Jake led attacks on alien supply convoys that were supposedly traveling through secure space. He struck at alien bases that were supposed to be hidden and impossible to find. Psychological effect on the Zephyrian fleet was devastating. For the first time in their military history, they faced enemies who seemed to be everywhere at once. Alien commanders began making nervous mistakes and second-guessing orders. Some ships started retreating from battles they should have been able to win easily. War. Commander Vexvar tried to restore order by executing officers who showed fear or hesitation. But this only made the situation worse. Zephyrian soldiers, who had always followed orders without question, began to wonder if their leaders really knew what they were doing. Some aliens started to surrender rather than face human forces that seemed to grow stronger with every battle. The turning point came during the battle for the ruins of Geneva. Vexvar personally led a massive assault intended to crush the human resistance once and for all. He brought his most powerful ships and his best soldiers to destroy the city. where human defiance had first begun after the alien attacks, but the humans were ready for him. Tony Miller had spent weeks preparing the battlefield with hidden weapons and secret tunnels. When the alien ground forces landed, they found themselves fighting an enemy that seemed to be attacking from everywhere at once. Human soldiers would appear from underground pop-up to fire a few shots and then disappear before the aliens could target them. Chloe Davis coordinated the defense using her quantum communication network. She linked every human fighter in the battle area so they could share information instantly. When one team spotted alien positions, they could immediately warn others and coordinate attacks. The Zephyrians found themselves fighting an enemy that seemed to know their every move before they made it. The space battle above Geneva was even more remarkable. Admiral Linda Cross commanded human ships that used tactics the aliens had never seen before. Some ships would pretend to retreat while others attacked from behind. Human fighters would ram alien vessels in suicide attacks that created openings for larger ships to exploit. What shocked the Zephyrians most was that humans celebrated these sacrifices instead of mourning them. When a pilot died destroying an alien ship, other humans would cheer and fight even harder. The aliens could not understand why the death of their enemies made humans stronger instead of weaker. Major Julie Hayes led the final assault on Dexvar's command post. Her soldiers fought through alien defenses using weapons that combined human creativity with alien technology. They used captured alien energy rifles modified with human targeting systems. They wore armor made from alien metal shaped using human engineering techniques. The battle reached its climax when Julie confronted Dexvar himself in hand-to-hand combat. The alien commander was larger and stronger, but Julie was faster and more determined. She had lost friends and comrades during the war, and she fought with a fury that the alien could not match. When Dexvar fell, the remaining Zephyrian forces began to surrender or retreat, but the war was not over yet. More alien ships were coming from other parts of the Zephyrian Empire, and Earth was still in terrible danger. The humans had proven they could fight and win battles, but now they faced a test that would determine the fate of their entire species. They had to take the war to the aliens and prove that humanity deserved a place among the stars. Jake Morrison gathered the surviving human ships and prepared for the most dangerous mission in Earth's history. They would follow the retreating Zephyrians into deep space and strike at the heart of the alien empire. It was a desperate plan that would either secure humanity's freedom forever or result in the complete destruction of the human race. Captain Jake Morrison led the human fleet into deep space following the retreating Zephyrian ships. The journey took them farther from Earth than any human had ever traveled before. Jake's fleet consisted of 30 ships built from captured alien technology and human ingenuity. Each vessel carried the hopes of an entire planet and the determination of a species that refused to be conquered. The final confrontation took place in the Proxima Centauri system, where the remaining Zephyrian fleet had gathered to make their last stand. War Commander Dexvar had called for reinforcements from across the Empire, but many alien ships were dealing with rebellions on worlds they had previously conquered. News of humanity's resistance had spread throughout the galaxy, and other enslaved species were beginning to fight back. The battle that followed became legendary throughout the galaxy. Human ships attacked in coordinated swarms that confused alien defensive systems. Lisa Carter led fighter squadrons that moved like flocks of birds, diving and weaving between massive alien vessels. The humans had learned to fight as a unified force where every pilot and every ship worked together toward a common goal. Dr. Emma Watson had given the human fleet weapons that the Zephyrians could not counter. Quantum disruption torpedoes could penetrate any alien shield. Energy weapons modified with human targeting computers could track and hit fast-moving targets. Most importantly, human ships could repair themselves during battle using techniques that combined alien technology with human resourcefulness. The Zephyrians fought desperately, but they were facing an enemy unlike anything in their experience. When human ships were damaged, they did not retreat. Instead, other ships would move in to protect them while repairs were made. When alien weapons destroyed human vessels, the remaining ships would fight even harder to avenge their fallen comrades. Sam Foster had created the most devastating weapon of all. He had modified captured alien computers to carry a virus that Ryan Bell had designed. When human ships got close to alien vessels, they would transmit the virus into alien computer networks. The virus caused alien systems to malfunction in random ways that made it impossible for alien commanders to coordinate their forces. The psychological warfare was even more effective than the physical attacks. Humans broadcast messages throughout the alien fleet telling the story of their resistance. They explained how a supposedly weak species had defeated the mighty Zephyrian Empire through courage, determination, and the willingness to sacrifice for others. Some Zephyrian ships began to surrender when their crews heard these messages. Alien engineer Yeltex spoke to his own people and told them that humans offered a better way of life than the Empire provided. He explained that humans did not want to conquer or enslave anyone. They wanted to explore the galaxy and make friends with other species. War. Commander Vexvar made his final stand aboard his flagship as human ships closed in around him. He finally understood the magnitude of his mistake. The Zephyrians had measured strength by looking at individual power and advanced technology. They had never considered that a species could be strong because they cared about each other and were willing to work together. In his last conversation with Captain Morrison, Vexvar admitted his error. He said the Zephyrians had conquered 17 worlds by overwhelming primitive species with superior weapons. They had never faced enemies who could adapt, learn, and grow stronger from each defeat. They had never encountered a species whose compassion and unity made them more powerful than any technology. The defeat of the Zephyrian Empire sent shockwaves throughout the galaxy. Species that had been conquered or intimidated by the aliens began to rebel. The Corthony broke free from their slave labor camps. The Veltros reclaimed their homeworld. The Nexari destroyed the alien bases in their system. Within months, the mighty empire that had ruled 17 worlds was collapsing. Captain Morrison found himself serving as Earth's first ambassador to the Galactic Council. The Council was a group of free species who had formed an alliance to prevent any empire from dominating the galaxy again. They welcomed humanity as an equal member and asked humans to help liberate the remaining enslaved worlds. Dr. Emma Watson became the head of the new Galactic Technology Exchange. Her job was to help different species share their knowledge and inventions for the benefit of everyone. Working with scientists from dozens of worlds, she developed technologies that no single species could have created alone. The quantum computers that humans had invented were combined with alien energy systems to create devices that could heal injuries, solve complex problems, and even extend life. The former Zephyrian territories became free, independent worlds. Many of the alien soldiers who had participated in the invasion chose to stay and help rebuild the civilizations they had destroyed. Yeltex became the leader of a movement that taught former Empire citizens how to live in peace with other species. Tony Miller established the Galactic Defense Corps, which trained soldiers from many different worlds to work together. The Corps used human tactics combined with alien technology to protect free worlds from any future threats. The soldiers learned that their greatest strength came not from their weapons but from their willingness to fight for others. Chloe Davis created a galaxy-wide communication network that allowed all free species to share information instantly. The network was based on human quantum computers and alien energy systems working together. For the first time in galactic history, any being on any world could talk to anyone else. Regardless of distance or language barriers, Earth became the center of a new galactic civilization based on cooperation instead of conquest. Human cities were rebuilt with alien technology that made them more beautiful and efficient than ever before. But the most important changes were not physical. Humans had learned that they were part of a larger community that included thousands of different species, each with their own contributions to make. Children on Earth now grew up learning alongside young beings from other worlds. Human schools taught alien languages and sciences, while alien children learned human art and philosophy. The diversity that had once divided the galaxy became its greatest strength as different species learned from each other. The Zephyrians' greatest mistake had been assuming that humanity's compassion was weakness. They thought that caring about others made humans vulnerable. Instead, it had made them strong enough to defeat an empire and free an entire galaxy. The lesson spread to every corner of known space that true strength came not from the power to destroy, but from the courage to protect and the wisdom to unite. War. Commander Thexvar spent his remaining years as a teacher helping young beings understand the dangers of prejudice and the importance of respecting all forms of life. He often told his students that the humans had taught him the most important lesson in the galaxy. The strongest species was not the one with the best weapons or the most advanced technology. It was the one that knew how to turn enemies into friends and how to build something better than what existed before.